In a peaceful, sunlit forest filled with chirping birds and rustling leaves, there lived a clever fox named Fino. He was known among the forest animals for his quick wit and sharp mind, but like all creatures, he had one weakness: his pride. One warm afternoon, Fino was wandering through the woods with an empty stomach. He hadn't eaten all day, and every bush he checked, every burrow he sniffed into, came up empty. Frustrated but determined, he trudged on, hoping to find something tasty. Just then, a sweet, fruity scent drifted through the air. Fino's nose twitched, and his eyes lit up with excitement. He followed the scent and came upon a beautiful vineyard draped over an old tree. Hanging high above him was a bunch of rich, purple grapes glistening in the sunlight. They looked perfect, ripe, juicy, and exactly what his hungry stomach needed. He licked his lips and thought, "Those grapes will be mine." He crouched low, focused, and with all his strength, leaped into the air but missed. The grapes were just too high. He landed with a thud and shook himself off. "Just warming up," he muttered to himself. He tried again, jumping higher this time, but still he couldn't reach them. Again and again he tried, jumping, climbing, even trying to stack rocks, but it was no use. The grapes remained far out of his reach. His paws ached, his legs were sore, and his pride began to crumble. Panting heavily, Fino sat down beneath the vine. He looked up at the grapes with frustration and disappointment. Then, with a flick of his tail, he scoffed and said, "Humph, they're probably sour anyway. Who wants grapes that high up?" With his nose in the air, he turned and walked away, pretending he had never wanted them in the first place. But the truth was, Fino did want those grapes. He wanted them badly. He simply couldn't admit, even to himself, that he had failed. So instead, he convinced himself they weren't worth it. And in doing so, he chose pride over honesty. This simple story may seem like just a fable, but it holds a powerful truth. How often do we, like Fino, give up on something we truly desire just because it's difficult to reach? How many times do we tell ourselves, "It wasn't worth it," when deep down, we know we didn't try hard enough or gave up too soon? Fino didn't fail because the grapes were too high. He failed because he stopped trying. He let frustration and ego cloud his judgment. What if, instead of walking away, he had looked for another way? What if he had asked for help or kept trying with a different approach? Maybe he would have tasted those sweet grapes after all. Sometimes in life, our biggest obstacle isn't the challenge itself. It's our unwillingness to try again. It's our pride, our fear of failure, our need to protect our ego. But the sweetest rewards often come to those who don't give up, who learn from each attempt, and who stay honest about what they truly want. As the forest grew quiet and night began to fall, Fino lay under a tree, stomach still empty, the scent of the grapes lingering in the air. He wasn't hungry because the grapes were sour. He was hungry because he gave up, and that's the lesson. So, the next time you find yourself walking away from something just because it seems out of reach, ask yourself, do you really not want it? Or are you afraid to keep trying? Don't let your pride rob you of what could be yours. Keep climbing. Try a new way. Believe that the effort is worth it. Because one day when you finally reach that goal, you'll realize those grapes were sweeter than you ever imagined.